Alright, hello everyone, my name is Iman and today I will be showing you how you can create a website from scratch in about 10 steps. The first thing we need is a program that will help us write code more efficiently. So I'm going to go to my browser and look for the program, which is called Visual Studio Code. This is the one that I choose to use. There are different options out there, but for these tutorials I'm going to be using this one. You can install the right version for your computer. I'm going to be using a Mac, so this is the one I'm going to install. And of course, we could be using something like a Word document, but something like Visual Studio Code has some plugins that will help us be more efficient. You will see this in a second when we start using the program. I can go ahead and remove this zip file, and then I can launch Visual Studio Code. I need to give it the right permissions, of course. And then you should be able to see something like this. I'm going to go ahead and just close this and this. And that's the first step completed. The second step would be to create a folder in which we will place our website. So I'm just going to put it on my desktop. Just click right, create a new folder, and you can name it whatever you want. I'm just going to call it first website. And then I can just simply drag this into the program. You can close this welcome tab. And then if you look over here, you will see the name of the folder. And if I click here, a blue border appears. And this is just a visualization of your folder. The third step will be to create a file inside of this folder. And I'm going to use this button over here. And the name of this file should be index.html. This is very important because this is the main point of entrance to your website. Now we essentially have the right components for our website. So I'm just going to simply write something. Hello world, for example. So now I can just launch my website by double clicking on it. And you will see that the words hello world appear on my browser. If I inspect this, I don't see much, but some HTML tags appear. And these are just tags that the browser creates so that it's easier for the browser to read this website. Of course, this is not the way we usually write HTML, and we will get more into this later. But for now, I'm going to be using a snippet, which is Emmet. And if I just type in an exclamation mark, you will see that I get a suggestion. If I press enter, there's a bunch of code written for me. Essentially, we will be writing our code inside of this body tag. I can also just say hello world. Then if I refresh the page again, I would see the same thing on my page, but the HTML tags change a bit. So this is everything that we see in our Visual Studio Code. To make it easier for me, I'm going to add an extra step and install an extension. So if I click here and look for live server, I should be able to find it. So the first one, I click install. On the bottom of my Visual Studio Code, I should see a new button called Go Live. So if I click this, a virtual server gets created for me. Now you don't need to understand what it is for now, but let's just see why I want to use this. So if I would continue to use this, I would have to keep refreshing the page over and over and over again. But if I go back and check my settings, you would see that I have my autosave set to after delay. So if you have this change and you have your live server, if I were to add something here, hello, for example, and go back to my browser, in here I wouldn't see anything until I refresh my page, but on the server, it would just appear without having to refresh the page the whole time. So that's a very handy thing. Of course, we don't just simply type our text like this. We usually use HTML tags, which we're going to get into in the next video. But for instance, one of the tags would be like an H1, which stands for heading 1, which essentially means a title. Hello world. If I check my website, you would see that the text is slightly larger. If I would type another one, for example, a paragraph, that would be a P tag. Hello. Then you would see that the tag would look a bit different. So there are a bunch of tags, and for every tag you would have a specific use case for them, but we're gonna look at them later. Okay, so if you have made it this far, congrats! You can call yourself a web developer now. Let's continue to build things up in the next video. See ya!